Alright, welcome to part 3 of prepping this car for paint. So, on this one we're going to focus a lot on the bodywork and just filling the little imperfections with body filler. So, I had a can of Bondo body filler, can of hardener, and then I just picked up this spot putty. So in my layout of parts, I also got this respirator mask that I'll be using instead of just the regular sanding mask, just because Bondo stuff is not good for you to inhale. There's a lot of tiny little cracks, kind of like you saw in the last part on the hood. A little bit on this fender, but they're really hard to see, so I'm sure I'm going to miss all of them on this first pass. I tried leveling as many as I can, but some of them just need to be filled in, so I'm gonna wash it right now. I just grounded everything down that needs to be filled with 80 grit. So now I'm gonna wash it, let it dry. Once it's dry, I'm gonna fill it. Got the first round of body filler on. So like the lighter pink one, that's the spot putty. It's a lot easier to apply this with the smaller body filler applier things. This got a pack of 20 of them for like $8, so I probably have enough to throw it away every time after I use it, but obviously I'm not going to do that, so I have some in the future in case I ever do something like this again, which I'm sure I will. So I haven't touched the headlight. I'll be doing that later. But basically got this whole fender down, and I think I got every little pinhole, every little crack in the fiberglass. I'll obviously know better once I sand it down and then see if I have to go over anything else. End of day 1 for this part 3, and got a lot of the bodywork done in the front. Basically, this fender is done. I'm sure there's tiny little spots that I'll find later on. Pretty much got it all taken care of though. You can see the spot putty filled in these tiny little cracks like perfectly. I can't, like, my nail doesn't catch on it, nothing. It's perfectly filled in just enough so it's not raising or anything like that. So that worked out good. Took a couple tries to get it right though. This is smooth, even though it does, like, it looks funny, it's smooth, trust me. This is all taken care of now. Finished it up with spot putty. Got the headlight back mounted in. It rubs a little bit on opening, so I just kind of filed it down. Sanded it down so there's a little more of a gap. I think that's really honestly as good as it's going to get. Yeah, I got this badge taken care of. Got some more body work here on this side too. I did not touch that fender, or this headlight, because this one, I did a little bit of work. I need to do more, like fill in this one. There's some that need to be filled in, but same with that. Got this fender, not touching this, not yet. Same with that, but got the body work, the Bondo stuff, the body filler. That's what I'm going to say. That's all taken care of. Yeah, there's a quick walk around. Alright, so front clip basically is all done except for the hood. Finally got this mirror out. So the adjuster thing here, taken off, slid to the side, slid the mirror over to the right, or the window, and then I was able to get it out finally. So I've never actually taken the glass out of a mirror before. I've always just painted it with the glass in it, just taping up the glass. So I guess I'm going to do some research, or maybe someone in the comments could let me know, like, is that possible? I don't know. So to get the key cylinder out there, has a little clip thing that I got to pull out and then fight with it and try not to lose anything. And then the door handle just has some, probably 2 rods, maybe just 1 rod. Yeah, probably just 1 rod. And then I'm guessing it has speed nuts in it because that's what the C4 had. So once you get the big clip out, this lock cylinder has the little tabs, so you just pull straight and then you gotta kinda wiggle it and get the little tab out. And you pull it out as a unit. You don't need to remove the tab down here. Just the 1 tab and you get this out. Not bad. And taking a closer look, there's 1 nut. So they aren't speed nuts, they're actually real nuts. 1 nut and then a rod that you have to disconnect. And from experience doing this on the C3 Corvette, that rod is going to be tricky. There's a little plasticky piece and you don't want to lose that. Got the mirror, the lock cylinder, and the door handle off. Here's the handle. This handle is actually in pretty good shape, not too bad. Man, really dirty though. So basically in here there's 3 screws here for the door latch mechanism. You gotta undo those same way you have to do in the C4. I really tried to not have to do that, but it's really the only way. Undo it. It also makes it a lot easier to get the top bolt out of the door latch. And then further proof that this car was repainted, and this car was repainted with the door jambs were repainted. There was paint on the bolts. As you can see, now there's not. So, pretty interesting. So once the door's shut, this is how you open it. Get a socket, put on the little rod, push down. There you go. So the rod will, there's like a little hole there and it likes to fall around. So you gotta kind of make sure it's lined up before you shut it. But I've had luck putting a finger through here and then finger through the top and being able to line it up every time. So Now this door's stripped. Let's go get the other side done. Alright, I'm at a loss. The cables for this side that adjust the mirror, how is it possible to remove that? Because I don't see it happening. There's no bolts or anything. It kind of looks like this bolts to that, but there's two Phillips, and of course they're so seized in there they want to strip immediately. So I don't know. At the very least, at least I can sand this part down, and if it has to get painted with the mirror on, at least I'll be able to get rid of all the flaking paint on the edge, and then it will kind of be more of a uniform. But it would color the gasket, but I don't know. Alright, so I managed to get the door handle out and the lock cylinder out. The lock cylinder actually looked like it had some electronic, had some electronic thing, so maybe it is power locks, at least on this side. I don't know, something weird going on. It looked pretty similar to how the C4s have their VAT system, and it can detect if something is locking it or not. It can detect when it is locked. That's how I should say it. So on the other side, I removed these 3 screws. Well, out of these 3, one of them came loose. The other 2 are seized in there, and once I gave it real torque, it just started stripping. Another Phillips head dilemma. But I managed to get it out without having to undo those 3 bolts or screws and lower the latch. Once you get the handle out, you can just kind of wiggle it up and then kind of fish the rod out. The rod actually fell. The rod that connects from the door handle to the latch fell out, so I had to push that back in. Luckily the other side was still together, so I knew exactly where that was supposed to be. But this is ready to be sanded now. That needs body work. Now, still don't know what I'm going to do about the mirror. It might need to be painted on the car, which is a bummer. Also, aren't there supposed to be gaskets for the door handles and the lock? I think they're supposed to be, but I don't have any. And I never really noticed like a gap or anything. I guess maybe it's for not letting water inside, but there's like holes on the side of the door panel that aren't covered. Like, here's a hole. So I mean, this isn't really waterproof anyways, so now I know how to close the doors and open them without the latches on, so I can feel safe about closing the door and not getting locked out of the car. But next up is just to do the bodywork on the mirrors and here. Alright, so we have the door pretty much filled in. Got some touch-up spot to do on where the mirror bolts up. I actually took off the weather stripping in here because this needs to be painted and the weather stripping was protruding. So I'm just gonna have this whole kind of panel painted, and I'm not really gonna worry about where the weather stripping goes because you won't see any of the paint in there. So yeah, just got to do a little bit of touch up there, and same thing on here. There's a little touch up spot somewhere. Don't remember exactly, but I just know somewhere. So in this part, we're going to be working on repairing this crack here. There's a crack here and a crack here. So I think only this one and this one need the fiberglass mat to be filled in with resin and all that. I think this one could be body filled, but yeah, actually I can feel in the back it's cracked. So yeah, I need to fill that in. So let's grind this down to bare fiberglass right in this area. Okay, so you saw me just apply the first little bit of resin and fiberglass mat to the back of the crack. So this is the resin I'm using. Basically it's something meant for SMC fiberglass stuff. So this is epoxy based, and from what I understand, these cars are polyester based in the fiberglass, and the resin and body filler stuff that you can buy at the stores is all polyester based. Polyester doesn't mix well with polyester, so that's why epoxy is the go-to to get it to stick well. So I want to do that right. I've heard you can use polyester stuff, but I want to just play it safe. So it says the direction has a little sample of how much to mix, and it says 1.5 ounces of the resin with a 4-inch long bead of the cream, and that probably is around 2 ounces, 2.5 ounces, something like that. I don't use ounces that much, so just taking a guess. I actually used a little longer than 4 inches, maybe like 5 inches, so I kind of had to hurry up just in case the hardener wanted to go faster than I planned. Right now I got duct tape on the back. I just filled in the backside with the fiberglass mat that I cut up, and then I got duct tape kind of holding the crack so it's straight and I'm not just filling something in that's still lopsided. And then the little mixing thing I used was a little yogurt cup. Perfect, because it's a 6-ounce yogurt cup, and I'm never going to use 6 ounces of resin for a fiberglass fill, because by that point your resin mix is just going to harden before you're done using it all. Here's the fiberglass mat. Actually, I don't want to touch it because fiberglass gets real itchy. I guess you're supposed to use matte for repairs like this because cloth will show through in the paint unless you body fill it like crazy, but yeah, matte's the way to go in it. And from what I understand, it's stronger just because the fibers go everywhere. So it doesn't say how long it's going to take to cure. I'm probably just going to give it a long time, a couple hours, then I'll take the duct tape off and do the other side, and then let it sit for like a day and a half. Alright, so while this has been drying, I've been working on filling other stuff like the headlights and all that. So it's been about 2 hours, and the resin is nice and dry now. You can kind of see, that's what it looks like. This is rock solid now. I mean, I'm impressed. I didn't know this was this strong. And I got it lined up pretty straight too, with just duct tape, so I'm surprised about that. I've seen people actually put in like kind of just some sheets and screw in to hold it into place, but I didn't want to do that because then you have to go in and fill those holes afterwards. But yeah, the resin is really strong, and then the fiberglass mat is even stronger, so that's pretty cool. And it filled in all the way here. I should not touch it, I don't want to get all itchy. So I'm going to fill in the front now, and making some progress. I need to get this car pulled out of the garage so I can wash it. So you're gonna hear how it sounds. Sounds a little different from the last time. I didn't really adjust much, so I don't know why. Alright, so this little fiberglass repair, have it all sanded down just to where it's level, or if anything actually a little lower than the body, because now I got to go over it with a pretty good size bit of body filler to coat it all, and then I can start smoothing it out. And also here where it's going through all the paint down into bare fiberglass, the white is the bare fiberglass. that's lower than the paint levels. So that means I have a little bit more areas to work with for body filler. And then the sides have little chips, actually just this one. This one has a little, if you can see it, a little chip where it met. So I have to fill that in on the back side too. That way it doesn't just defeat the whole purpose of this repair. Body filler is on the fiberglass repair. While that's drying, let's sand off the just sanding the hood down with 240, getting ready to spray another layer of primer to see if I missed any spots. Spoiler, I noticed I missed some spots, so I'm going to try to touch those up before I put the primer on. But this is a good example of what the spot putty is doing. So there are some spots that I've missed. I mean, there's just so many little cracks. It would have been really impressive if I got that first try. So it's going to take a couple tries to get all of it. It's a little tedious, but the spot putty dries pretty quick. I don't know exactly how long because I just kind of left it and came back half an hour later. But it sands super, super easy, which is awesome. So I laid down primer. There's a couple of mosquitoes and gnats in here, and they kept landing on the paint. So if you saw me like swipe at the paint, that was me trying to get the bugs off of it. So I sprayed a couple extra coats wherever the bugs were on, and I had to wipe off. As I was spraying, I did notice some spots. There's some of my hair in the paint, so I guess if I was a real painter, I'd have to tie my hair back. Yeah, okay. I don't know if you can see, but I can see some spots, so it's definitely a good thing I did this. Yeah, a few more over here. Definitely a good idea that I did this. So I'm going to end this video here, get it out there, and the next video we're going to sand this down, get it nice and smooth, fill the little pinholes, finish smoothing out the fiberglass repair that I did on that fender side. And if this turns out decent, then maybe I'll spray paint the primer onto the car, because honestly, as long as it's smooth, it doesn't matter if it's spray paint or what, because you have to sand over it and you can make it smooth yourself. So we'll see. And I've heard many people that just do like one good coat of primer is enough to have paint go over. Plus, there's nothing really going on to bare fiberglass. I do need primer over everywhere that I did body filler and just body work in general, but it's not like paint where you need 2, 3, maybe 4 coats to have good coverage. As long as it's solid, you can do it one go. So I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, so thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and yeah, let me know what you think about that. Just a thought.